Minutina is one of a number of rare crops we grow in our garden that you probably won't find in your local grocery store. It's cold hardy enough to survive our zone 5 winters under 2 layers of protection, but tolerates heat well enough to still be thriving in midsummer. We're always on the lookout for new plants that can help us extend our growing season, and this is what initially piqued my interest in Minutina. Minutina is an herbaceous flowering plant that produces a rosette of toothed narrow leaves that grow to about 10 inches long. It's also known as Erba Stella, which means star herb, and buckshorn plantain because its leaves resemble deer antlers. Its scientific name is Plantago Coronopus. This plant is starting to flower and will eventually have flowers along the end of this stem. Minutina grows in sandy soils near the sea and is native to Eurasia and North Africa. It's been grown in the U.S. since colonial times when it was used as a medicinal plant, believed to lower fevers and treat other ailments. Minutina is perennial in some climates, so I'm curious to see if it will grow as a perennial here, if I'm able to keep it alive under protection this winter. Minutina is rare enough that I had a hard time finding information about its nutritional content. I found some articles that said it was nutritious, but I couldn't find any specifics. We purchased our Minutina seeds from Bountiful Gardens and started the tiny seeds in pots outdoors in early spring. When the plants were mature enough to transplant, we moved them to this bed of edible perennials, which gets about 5 to 6 hours of direct sun per day. They thrive in cool, rainy weather, which is exactly what we had in May and June. Minutina can be planted from spring through winter, and I'm planting more seeds today in hopes of growing a few more plants this winter in our soon-to-be-built hoop house. I'll also let our existing plants go to seed and self-sow. Then I'll move some of the self-sown plants to new locations in the garden. Minutina is best eaten when it's young, crunchy, and succulent. It loses some of its flavor and toughens up once the flower stalk appears. Young leaves are excellent raw in salads, but they're also good in pasta, soups, and stir-fries. They're not bitter like some greens, and they have a somewhat nutty flavor. The flowers are also edible, though we haven't tried them yet. Minutina is harvested using a cut-and-come-again approach. Just pinch off leaves at the base of the plant, and new leaves will continue to grow. So far we've only eaten Minutina raw, but now that the leaves are toughening up, I thought I'd saute some in olive oil with garlic, salt, and pepper. The older leaves are definitely chewier, but they do work well when cooked. I really like this. As I mentioned earlier, it was Minutina's cold hardiness that first drew our attention. Elliot Coleman grows it during the winter in Maine in unheated greenhouses, and we want to do something similar here, growing it in cold frames inside of a hoop house, along with other cold hardy crops like mosh and claytonia. I hope you enjoyed this closer look at one of the rare crops we grow that you probably won't find in your local grocery store. The more rare crops that we all grow, the more we'll help preserve the genetic diversity of our food supply. Well, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, remember, you can change the world 1 yard at a time.